What if I told you that your freedom isn't stolen by kings, tyrants, or governments, but by your own calendar? What if every yes you speak, every distraction you accept, every pleasure you chase, is the chain that keeps you conquered? Machiavelli saw it centuries ago. Men are not ruined by enemies alone, but by their own weakness, their own waste, their own surrender of power. And in this video, you will uncover 7 ruthless principles drawn from his philosophy, each one designed to carve away illusion and leave only control, focus, and sovereignty. But here's the real test. By the end, will you be able to look at your life and say, I am sovereign. I command my time, my choices, my destiny. Or will you see the truth, that you are already serving someone else's throne? Stay until the end, because once you hear these laws, you'll never look at your hours, your habits, or your power the same way again. Command your hours, or kneel as a slave. Let me ask you, who truly owns your day? Is it you, or the endless stream of meetings, emails, and obligations? You see, freedom is not wealth, not praise, not applause. Freedom is time. He who does not command at least 2/3 of his day is no ruler. He is already conquered. Your calendar is not your ally. It is your prison ledger. Look at it. Every box filled, every hour already sold. You mistake busyness for power. But busyness is nothing but servitude in disguise. The worker chained to the factory clock. The executive shackled to endless calls, the student drowning in assignments that lead nowhere. Each hour you do not control is a chain around your neck. Machiavelli once wrote of Florence, a city living on borrowed time, its freedom dependent on the whims of others. Without armies, no sovereignty. Without time, no freedom. Do you see the law? Armies then. Calendars now. The principle hasn't changed. He who cannot command his own hours is already conquered by another's. So, what are your hours? A fortress or an open city? Every notification, every pointless meeting, every false emergency, they are enemy incursions. And every time you surrender your morning to noise, you hand your crown to someone else. Cut false urgency. Stop mistaking speed for strategy. Guard your mornings like fortresses. Build walls around them. Make them sacred. Rise before the noise. Write, plan, decide when the world is silent. Then, repel interruptions like enemy soldiers at your gate. If it does not serve your mission, it does not enter. Think about it. You wake up. First thing, you grab your phone. 30 minutes gone to scrolling, then emails. Suddenly it's 11 a.m., and your energy is drained before you've even begun. That is not freedom, that is slavery. Now compare the man who wakes before dawn. No phone, just silence. He writes his plan. He trains his body. He decides the day before the world decides for him. That man is sovereign. That man is free. He who owns his hours owns his destiny. He who surrenders them is nothing but a servant in disguise. An overhead shot of a crowded subway at rush hour, bodies pressed together, heads bowed to glowing screens, a mass of submission, cut to a candlelit chamber. A single man sits at a desk, ink and parchment before him. The world is asleep. He writes strategy at dawn. The silence is his weapon. The contrast, submission versus sovereignty. Machiavelli would cancel courtly banquets. He would cut short the endless petitions of flatterers. At dawn, no interruptions, no ceremony, no distractions, only command decisions. He would carve his hours like a fortress wall, unbreakable, uninterruptible, sovereign. So I'll ask you, are you master of your time? Or are you already someone else's servant?
Hey guys, we're Wisdom, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep. breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
Cut with no, or bleed from 1,000 yeses. Tell me, how many times have you agreed to something you didn't want, just to keep the peace? How many times have you said yes when your soul screamed no? You think you're building relationships, building opportunities, building identity, but identity is not addition. It is subtraction. To accept all is to stand for nothing. Every weak commitment drains you. Every promise made from fear, every tie kept out of politeness. Each one cuts you, bleeds you dry, until nothing of you remains. 1,000 small yeses do not make you powerful, they bury you. Machiavelli admired Cesare Borgia because he ruled by refusal. Allies abandoned, promises betrayed. Even his own ministers executed when they no longer served him. He was defined not by what he gained, but by what he cut away. That is why he was feared. That is why he was remembered. But you fear rejection. You fear being disliked. And yet it is precisely refusal that crowns rulers. The man who cannot say no is already enslaved by the demands of others. So here is your path. Write your constitution of refusals. Set down, clearly, what you will never again allow into your life. Apply the 8-10 rule. If an opportunity, a project, a relationship is not at least an 8 out of 10, eliminate it. Replace apology with clarity. Stop excusing your refusals. State them coldly, firmly, without guilt. Power is not what you pursue. Power is what you refuse. A banquet table, plates piled high with luxuries. The prince waves them away one by one until only a chalice of water remains. Silence fills the room. Then, Cesare Borgia rides into town, a corpse displayed as warning. Ruthless refusal made flesh. Machiavelli would sever alliances the moment they became liabilities. He would betray without hesitation if advantage demanded it, because he understood. A ruler who carries dead weight will not rule for long. So I'll ask you, what weak yeses are bleeding you right now? And when will you have the courage to cut them away? Here is your law. 2. You are defined not by what you accept, but by what you refuse. Each no sharpens your identity. Each weak yes dissolves it. Subtract or suffocate beneath the weight of more. You think success is addition. More tasks, more goals, more possessions, more noise. But addition weakens, subtraction sharpens. What you call achievement is often just clutter dressed in gold. Look around you, your desk stacked with papers, your phone loaded with apps, your life bloated with half-done projects and hollow obligations. Do you truly feel stronger for it, or do you feel smothered, buried beneath the rubble of more? Machiavelli mocked pomp and illusions. He saw rulers drowning in ceremonies, draped in jewels, praised by flatterers, and yet powerless. Power, he wrote, is always up for grabs, but only when stripped of lies and ornaments. The throne does not need more velvet, it needs sharper steel. You don't need more, you need less. Less distraction, less indulgence, less excess. True success is revealed not when you pile endlessly, but when you cut mercilessly. So purge possessions, slash commitments, silence noise. Every object you release, every pointless meeting you burn, every voice of distraction you silence. Each is a stone removed from the rubble, each reveals the fortress beneath. Success is the fortress revealed when rubble is cut away. A throne room, overloaded with jewels, banners, and silken tapestries. One by one, the torches are extinguished, the ornaments stripped away. Shadows grow. At last, only the stone walls remain, bare, silent, and on the throne, Not riches, but a single sword, the fortress revealed. Machiavelli would have cut costly pageantry. He would have dismissed flatterers and charlatans. He would have stripped his court to soldiers and strategy alone, lean, efficient, unbreakable. So I ask you, is your life a fortress or a warehouse of clutter? Do you command sharp essentials, or do you drown beneath useless excess? Here is your law. 3. Success is subtraction. Each thing you cut sharpens power. Each thing you cling to dulls it. Stop chasing pleasure. Destroy pain. You've been taught that happiness is a prize, a reward, something you chase by adding more vacations, more luxuries, more pleasures. But that is an illusion. Look closer. How long does pleasure last? The drink is empty in minutes. The praise fades in days. The purchase loses its shine in weeks. Pleasure is a guest that never stays. Schopenhauer was right. Happiness is not pleasure gained. It is suffering destroyed. A man does not smile because he bought something new. He smiles because the burden that tormented him is gone. Relief is deeper than indulgence. So ask yourself, what pain repeats every day in your life? Is it the endless stress of debt? The constant exhaustion from neglecting your health? The bitterness of a relationship that poisons your spirit? These are not minor inconveniences. They are chains, and as long as they remain, every pleasure you chase will feel hollow. Machiavelli understood this brutal truth. He taught that cruelty, when used well, prevents greater chaos later. One strike can end 1,000 rebellions. A ruler who delays action, who tolerates small fires, eventually burns with his kingdom. But the ruler who cuts early, cuts decisively, earns peace. So it is with you. Do you face your pain directly, or do you let it grow in the shadows? Audit your recurring pains. Write them down. The arguments you keep having, the habits that drain your strength, the responsibilities you avoid because they scare you. Then act with cruelty. Eliminate them without mercy. End the relationship that bleeds you. Confront the problem that keeps you restless at night. Solve the debt instead of hiding from it. Do not patch the wound. Amputate it if you must. The ruler of his pain is the only ruler of his happiness. Picture a battlefield at dawn. The air is cold. The men silent. A commander knows one of his officers has betrayed him. He summons the traitor before the army. One order is given. A single execution at sunrise. The silence afterward is heavier than the clash of swords, and because of that one blow, there is no rebellion at dusk. The commander destroyed pain before it spread. That is leadership. That is survival. Machiavelli would have done the same. He would strike one cruel blow early, preferring decisive pain over endless instability, because he knew that hesitation breeds chaos. Rulers who refuse to act suffer endlessly. Rulers who cut once rule. So I'll ask you, how long will you chase pleasures while your pain rots beneath the surface? How long will you soothe instead of sever? Will you continue numbing yourself with distractions? Or will you strike one decisive blow and finally free yourself? Here is your law 4. Happiness is not found in the pursuit of pleasure, but in the destruction of pain. Remove it at the root, and stability and freedom will follow. Act, don't excuse. How many times have you wasted hours, even days, justifying a choice you already knew was wrong? How many times have you buried hesitation under paragraphs of excuses? You told yourself it wasn't the right time. You told yourself you needed more information. You told yourself you had to wait until conditions were perfect. And yet, nothing was done. Excessive justification is not wisdom. It is self-deception. It is the mind disguising fear as logic. The truth is this: the right choice needs no paragraphs. It stands on its own. Machiavelli admired leaders who acted swiftly and decisively. He despised hesitation, because hesitation breeds weakness, and weakness breeds contempt. Princes who rationalize lose respect. Princes who decide, even if harshly, win it. Rationalizations are the chains of the weak. Decisions are the weapons of the strong. So let this be your rule. If a decision demands long excuses, cut it. If you have to write a speech to justify it, the decision is already wrong. Act, don't excuse. Decide, don't debate. Rulers do not rationalize, they decide. Picture a courtroom, the air thick with tension. A ruler sits at the head of the chamber as courtiers argue endlessly, each one presenting excuses, fears, doubts. Finally, he slams a decree on the table. No words, no explanations, just one brutal strike of authority. The courtiers fall silent, shocked not by the decree, but by the efficiency of its delivery. The matter is ended. Machiavelli would have done the same. When clarity appeared, he would silence debate, strike swiftly, and act before hesitation weakened resolve. Because he knew that power decays in delay, authority dies in excuses. So I ask you, are you explaining your way out of your own destiny, or are you willing to decide, here and now, without apology? Here is your law. 5. Reduce, don't rationalize. Excuses dilute power. Decisions create it. Cut for clarity, not for fashion. Minimalism has become a fashion statement. Empty rooms, white walls, clean desks. People chase the aesthetic of less, thinking it makes them powerful. But let me tell you the truth. Minimalism without precision is emptiness. It is weakness dressed as discipline. Precision is power. Blind subtraction is nothing more than vanity. Anyone can throw things away. But only the strategic man knows what to cut and why. A soldier does not strip off his armor because it looks heavy. He keeps the plate that protects his chest and removes only what slows his sword arm. That is the difference between minimalism and precision. Machiavelli called this virtù, not virtue as in morality, but the exact qualities needed to win. Every prince, he said, must cultivate only what serves his survival, his control, his dominance. Everything else is a liability. To subtract without this principle is to weaken yourself. To subtract with precision is to sharpen your edge. So ask yourself, right now, does this sharpen my aim? Does this task, this possession, this relationship bring me closer to the strike that matters? Or does it distract, dilute, delay? If it sharpens you, keep it. If it dulls you, cut it. Cut without hesitation, but never without thought. Less is the shadow. Precision is the substance. Picture a swordsman in a dark chamber. He draws his blade blunt and dull. Slowly, methodically, he runs it along the whetstone. Shavings fall away, sparks flying into the night. With every stroke, steel is lost. And yet, with every stroke, the weapon becomes deadlier. By the end, only a sliver of steel remains, but every inch of it gleams sharp enough to kill. This is subtraction with precision. This is true power. Machiavelli would never cut for appearances. He would not dismiss courtiers simply to look austere. He would cut flatterers who wasted his time. He would cut ceremonies that weakened his control. He would keep only soldiers, only loyal advisors, only what ensured survival. His subtraction was never random. It was exact, surgical, ruthless. So let me ask you, are you cutting things from your life because it makes you look disciplined? Or because it makes you stronger? Are you stripping away for fashion or for war? Here is your law. 6. Precision over minimalism. Do not cut to look clean, cut to become sharp. Subtract only what strengthens your strike. Nothing less, nothing more. Mediocrity is treason. Cut it. If it is not at least an 8 out of 10, it is not opportunity. It is sabotage. And yet, how often do you accept the 7, the 6, the safe and lukewarm option that neither excites nor terrifies? You tell yourself it's practical. You tell yourself it's realistic. But mediocrity is not safety. It is poison. Machiavelli warned that neutrality earns only contempt. A prince who tries to stand in the middle is crushed by both sides. The world has no respect for the lukewarm, and yet you allow mediocrity into your choices every day. The job you don't love, but don't hate. The friendship that doesn't inspire, but doesn't offend. The goal that doesn't thrill, but doesn't scare. You think you're surviving. In truth, you're rotting slowly. Mediocrity is treason. Every time you choose something less than excellent, you betray your future. You waste your strength on roads that lead nowhere. You dilute your power across half-hearted paths. So rate every path, every decision, every relationship. If it is not an 8, 9, or 10, eliminate it. Do not compromise. Do not negotiate. Do not keep the good enough because it feels safe. Burn it. A prince who chooses mediocrity chooses defeat. 2 roads diverge. One is dark, uncertain, filled with thorns. The other is clear, fortified, lit by fire. The ruler does not stand debating. He does not keep both paths open. He burns the dark road behind him, ensuring no retreat. Now, there is only one way forward, and it must be conquered. Machiavelli would burn the middle ground. He would never choose the safe alliance, the comfortable compromise, the moderate path. He would choose only the strongest course and commit to it fully, knowing that hesitation is death. So I'll ask you, how many 6s and 7s are you still tolerating in your life? How many lukewarm choices are rotting your power? When will you burn them and walk only the road of excellence? Here is your law. 7. The 8-10 rule. If it is not excellent, it is sabotage. Cut mediocrity, or mediocrity will cut you.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.